So the question we are asking, is Robert Jenrick evil? So, before on Is Robert Jenrick Evil, we detailed his involvement in pushing through a development that had previously been denied by planning inspectors. The developer was media mogul Richard Desmond, a Tory donor who was happy that Jenrick helped him get through the application process to avoid this.
The documents show that Mr. Jenrick rushed the decision through on the 14th of January specifically so he could help Mr. Desmond avoid 30 to 50 million pounds in a community levy that would have been spent on things like schools, youth clubs and clinics in one of the most deprived communities in the United Kingdom.
So thanks to Jenrick, he helped shortchange a struggling council out of 30 to 50 million pounds. But it's this incident, ordering the removal of a mural in an asylum centre for children in Kent, that puts him into the proper realm of evil.
The very best. It was on Tuesday that the I newspaper reported reports that Robert Jenrick, a Home Office minister, fondly known as Honest Bob Jenrick by fans of sarcasm and satire, had ordered staff at an asylum centre, a children's asylum centre, to paint over murals on the grounds that they were too welcoming.
The spirit behind the minister's intention does matter. So therefore, can he explain, is it true that he gave orders to the Asylum Reception Centre to paint over children's cartoons? And if so, why? Because nobody believes that Mickey Mouse cartoons either encourage or deter boats to arrive, and they simply think that this is the minister actually not showing some common decency towards vulnerable children.
How will Jenrick reply?
We provide very high quality care at all of the centres in which we support unaccompanied children. We didn't think that the setup in that particular unit was age appropriate because the majority of those individuals who were unaccompanied passing through it last year were teenagers.
I do not want to live in a country where a senior government minister orders cartoon characters on the wall of an asylum centre in Kent for unaccompanied children to be painted over because they create too welcoming an environment. I don't want to live in that country. And it turns out I do.
I'm going to say was one of the most vile and cowardly and egregious political acts I think I've ever actually witnessed.
This matter went to the House of Lords, where Alf Dubs asked why this had happened, only to get the most incredible reply.
The government takes the welfare of unaccompanied children seriously. How does that relate to the rival centre in Dover, which had cartoons and welcoming signs for children, and which were ordered to be removed by the Home Office minister because it might make the children feel too welcome? Isn't that a disgrace? And isn't it time that government backbenchers felt as embarrassed as we are that this is happening in our country?
The murals that the Noble Lord refers to were provided by our detention contractors and were not commissioned or approved by the Home Office. It's clearly the correct decision that these facilities have the requisite decoration befitting their purpose.
And there is a story. I referred to it quite obliquely. I don't think I gave you much detail. And I said, I just can't believe it. So we're going to give Robert Jenrick the benefit of the doubt this morning, because I cannot believe that this story will be as gross as it appears to be.
Here, Tory MP Victoria Atkins, defending Jenrick, doesn't even acknowledge the cruelty of the act.
I don't believe you're comfortable with it, the decision to paint over. I don't believe it.
Well, I'm not comfortable with the idea that people would bring children across in these boats.
I can absolutely understand that, but that's not the decision of the children, is it? They end up in the decision to paint over this mural. It's a place where kids go. They must be terrified when they go and sit on those chairs. They don't know what's happening. They don't know where they're going to go. And there was an active decision to paint over Mickey and Minnie Mouse. Are you happy with that?
Which is why the fundamentals of how we care for those children
That's
is
not my
so
question,
important.
though. Are you comfortable with this?
You
wouldn't have done it, would you?
When children come to the UK in those very frightening circumstances, as we do, we want them to be looked after well.
Yesterday, the Home Office confirmed that the murals had been removed on Tuesday, the day that the Eye published its initial story. Mr. Jenrick told staff at the Kent Asylum Intake Unit, a bespoke building designed especially to meet the needs of lone asylum-seeking children, to paint over the art.
Accommodation for migrants should meet their essential living needs and nothing more, because we cannot risk becoming a magnet for the millions of people who are displaced and seeking better economic prospects.
So the Tories are a pretty despicable bunch, with Robert Jenrick one of their top evil minions. Click here for the other episode of Is Robert Jenrick Evil?